Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final part of AstralGames Day 146! Pillars of Eternity, episode 10. We are about to enter Dire Fort, or Deer Fort, or whatever. But before we do that, SRW Forest, welcome to the Prophet. Thank you for the follow and the support. Alright. To Dire Fort, Deer Fort, whatever it is. We now know the location to the ruins. A word, traveler. I only require a moment.
Hail, traveler.
The guard sighs with relief as he looks at you. What are the odds? Stuck in this backwater only to meet the famed champion of Defiance Bay. Berat's wheel brings mercy today indeed. His demeanor grows serious. Perhaps you could help. I don't suppose you saw a young elven noblewoman on the road. I'm stuck in this wretched place with the rest of my unit until we find her. Who is she? Lady Alice. She's the daughter of Lord Nestor Harmond, and she's gone missing. Perhaps you could go speak with Lord Harond at the inn. He'll be grateful for the assistance, and it could be the villagers will open up to you more than they have to us. Okay. Quests everywhere. We're just gonna explore. Exploring Direford Village. Just a random villager there. Yep, just random villagers. Exploring Direford Village. That's the inn, so we'll take that last. She's been missing for days. You people can't keep stonewalling us. And you can't just barge into our homes. We told you she's not here. I suppose you've seen a young elven noblewoman? No, I haven't.
Smell around here reminds me of this stable hand, Drutman.
Cheers.
Not real popular with the women, Drutman.
What the hell is a currari? Currari? Can't find it anywhere. I never. Shaban. I'll take care of our customer.
Hail and well met.
Well met. Sturdy, broad-shouldered man wipes his hand on his flanks. He reeks of the same foul compound wafting from the vats, and his arms are stained with dye. You looking to purchase some leather? What's in the collapsed tower? It's collapsed. Nothing. Few hides on stretching racks and the tallow stench Dangler's always been grumbling about. The rest of the keep's dust, just like the fool lady Thainu who tried to hold it. There's a bard at the inn who'll tell you the whole blazing story if you want to hear it. He wipes a splotch of dye from his elbow with his shirt tail. Something else you need? Have you seen Nifra? I'll make it a point to keep out of other people's business. Okay. I'm not for chit-chat. Stay out of my private quarters. Okay. They're private for a reason, I guess. Fine. I'll stay out of them. Hydinus Apothecary. Potions for sale. A young woman leans against a wagon. One arm and one side of her face are covered in bandages with raw rippled flesh showing underneath. A minty tangy scent wafts from her dressing. Everything wafts in this place. She smiles painfully. Just ventured into town? I'm about to dry on some of my stocks, but you're welcome to have a look-see. How did you get burned? She turns her face to the ground. By the flame, how bad does it look? Just say it. I know you'll tell me straight. Who cares how it looks? What matters is that you're okay. Suppose you're right. Good thing I know my poultices. I've been keeping an eye on Drake's Nest east of town, Direford Crossing. The beast stayed just long enough to lay a clutch and move on. Thank the Sky Mother it wasn't a full-grown dragon. Fresh eggs are much more useful than the ones I get passed between merchants or left in nests for weeks or more. And that clutch looked to be at its peak. No, I'd see about getting an egg, but I didn't realize so many of them had already hatched, or that young worms were so territorial. What's so special about these eggs? They're one of the strongest tonics known to Kith. If you leave out Caro Golan, of course. Not saying anyone should take that. But dragon eggs are known to make Kith bold. Purposeful. Some even think they'll protect from Beerwax. All I know, everyone's spinning after potions made from dragon eggs. But the damn roads. Can't reach none of my suppliers, so I'm stuck with whatever I can scrounge up in wood. Direcap, river reed, and the like. I could get an egg for you. She keeps her gaze steady, but you see hope kindling in her eyes and twitching at the corners of her mouth. I sure hope you're not leading me on. I don't think I could stand getting burned again. She bites her lip. If you really mean to go after it, I'd certainly pay you. Just remember, big as they are, dragon eggs are fragile. There's a lot more I can do with a whole one.
Hail, traveler.
She adjusts one of her bandages. Anything else I can do for you? Got some handy ointments if you're braving the roads anytime soon. I'm looking for an Orlan named Nifra. I did see an Orlan lady headed into Dracogen just the other day. She points across the road at that large building. Don't know what her name was, but she was acting real sneaky-like. What's wrong with the roads? I like the way this person talks. You really like the universe of this game? The magical elements are interesting. Yeah, the universe is definitely interesting. It also seems very fleshed out. Which is really cool. It's just the way it is presented in this game, kind of too dramatic and stuff, but the universe itself and all its information in it and everything, that's really awesome. What's wrong with the roads? And noise have discussed rattles from turns. Brigands, looters, you name it. The gods may be hollowing out our babies, but it's grown folk that's robbing out the rest of us. People are scrambling to Defiance Bay because they hear there's healthy birds there. And all those refugees in abandoned homes attract desperate sorts like flies on dog shit. I like this person. I'm gonna get you a dragon egg. First I'm gonna loot the place now. Oh, there is someone there. Willy Egg Ferris. A ledger lies open on the desk. It lists purchase and sale amounts for various alchemical ingredients and concoctions.
Found something.
Yeah, I'm not gonna steal anyway. You see a modestly furnished house, warm from the cooking fire lit at its far end. The man is sitting in a high back chair looking at the large book with a small boy in his lap. He smiles and asks the child about the pictures on the pages as he points to different parts of them. He looks up as a woman approaches to stir something in the pot hanging over the fire. She adds some carrots to the pot, mixes them in, and stands and turns to the man. She says something to him and he leans in to give him a kiss when a knock comes at the door. The man makes a stand and the woman motions for him to stay. She walks to the door and glances out the window. It is already too dark outside for anything to be seen. She lifts the bolt on the door and pulls it open, revealing a tall, lanky man with a strange smile on his face. There's a wet tearing sound and the woman makes a wee groan, collapsing to the floor, blood quickly pooling around her. The man in the chair leaps to his feet, grabbing his son, interposing himself between the boy and the man at the door, who steps over the body and enters the house. Galarg vowed you would feel his pain, the man says conversationally, as 4 other men enter the house behind him. It appears your rent has come due. Ooh. Evil! Evil! The evil in this world. More villagers. Woman looks briefly to you. Grieving Mother? It's a character! Oh my god. This middle-aged peasant woman is dressed in a brown leather cloth draped down to her knees. Her hands are working at separating stringy colorless vegetables in a pile before her, stripping the heads of the long fibrous stems with a paring knife. She discards the stems one by one, placing the heads of vegetables into a small cradle-like basket in front of her. She doesn't greet you as you approach. You're not sure she even knows you're there. Hey, Bitter Rose, what up? How are things? I was hoping to ask you some questions. The woman doesn't respond. She keeps stripping the heads from the vegetables with a steady rhythm. She may be deaf. There's no indication she heard you. At first glance, she seems nothing more than a middle-aged woman, unremarkable, maybe less stern than most, who seems more focused on the weaving in her lap than her surroundings. Yet you suddenly notice she's not stripping the vegetables before her any longer. She's weaving, and the vegetable pots are now missing. She still pays you no mind, her brown locks torn and snagged from lack of washing, like the many of the townsfolk you've seen. There's a strange blur to her. Even the motions of her hands seem to be playing with threads that lack color, in a shape that lacks interest. It may be that she is half-minded, or deaf, but something feels wrong. As you watch, her knitting takes on an odd cadence, and you have a terrible suspicion that something lurks beneath what your eyes are showing you. Xmas decorations down. Wow, that's you had a long Christmas. I'm doing good, Bitter Rose. I'm actually really excited. Got some developments going on both for my company and for the contract, the school that I work under contract for. Really excited for those developments. Gonna be speaking to a lot of people next week, and in the weeks after that. And hopefully, let's say optimistically, by the end of February, I finally will have a better picture of where I stand job-wise. Either at the school, or with my own company, or a mixture of both. But yeah, hopefully we'll get some work going then, which would be cool. Alright, I focus on the one. Her brown hair is long, almost impossibly to the length of her hands. As you follow the streams of her locks downwards, the hairs become long and black, splitting off into threads of black and silver and wrapping around her hands. Exciting times indeed, yeah. I'm very excited. Lots of conversations going on. With like companies and schools and all that. She is forming a soul cradle with the threads, braiding a net in front of you, each finger long and sharp like the series of knitting needles, almost hypnotic. The silver and black strands of her hair weave together with silver predominating as a highlight, the black shadowing it. And suddenly, you are calm. You are on a plateau, almost the height of a tower, several stories high. The plateau is like a table lying beneath a clear sky, and beneath the plateau, surrounding it in all directions, a forest hazy with mist. Although whether it is actual mist, or distance, or a recollection. Resting in the curve of a natural arc above you is a great copper bell, half again the size of a man, hanging at attention, as if looking down on you and the event unfolding before you. The plateau has soaked in the sun, and the rock beneath you is rough and warm. The sky forms a cradle around you. You feel different, not disembodied, but you feel your body, your physical contours have changed along with the surroundings. And you hear a soft series of chimes, like wind chimes. At the sound, the scene gains color and texture, as if the sound is beckoning you gently forth, filling your senses and thoughts, like mist roiling softly into a sealed chamber. And the chime coaxes you deeper into the memory, and you're certain it is a memory, a warm one. You're on the stone of the plateau, your knees on the warm texture of the ground, silver, white, shimmering like Adra. The plateau is formed of it, glistening in the sun. You can feel the heat on your skin, your wrists and your hands. Your hands are in motion. Weaving, not thread, but gathering. Tenderly moving along the first movements of Barrett's wheel. Your hands are wet. Your hands are upon the flesh of a newborn child. You can feel the crowning of a tiny head, turning in your grip, its head slick, wet from the womb. The hands are wearing, inhabiting, have done this many times, and they are practiced and confident. You can feel distant pains in your own head as the head emerges, a stream of fluid from the womb helping the newborn slide forth, and a woman's labor breathing, crying out. We're helping deliver a child through a memory. Interesting. Focus on the child, the movement of your hands. As your hands move, you hear the sound of chimes, clear, cutting through the haze of memory. You cannot see where they are coming from, but they are close, and they are meant as comfort. Of that you are certain. Draw the child forth. And coaxed by your hands, every movement causing the chimes to sound again. Almost eagerly, the child comes forth, and as it does, your hands are in motion, weaving, moving along the length of a soft wet rope. No, an umbilical cord from the legs of the naked woman before you. You are holding a small child, still wet from the womb, before you. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the ringing of chimes echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges, as if you are viewing a soul, from within a soul, but it is there. It is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. You surrender the child to her, something you have done many times before. And as your hands move, the chimes echo the movement, and you realize the chimes are hanging from cords on your wrists. And where once they echoed in memory, they are now echoing in the child's mind as well. Boom! Real life dramatic news. Oh, the Alan Rickman one. Yeah. Rip Alan Rickman. David Bowie and Alan Rickman in one frickin' week, which is insane. The chimes are intended to welcome the child, to be its first gentle greeting into the world, a soothing sound guided by the tender motions of your wrist. You are helping to weave its thoughts, its perceptions, and the experience. The woman laughs with a ragged joy, laughing from a parched throat. Her emotions seem soothed, but the physical demands of labor have left her exhausted. But the child is there, the child is safe, and all at the plateau is peaceful, calm, distant, flattening out as the memory persists. With effort, the scene bleeds of color. Your mind becomes your own again. There is no pull, no anchor, yet the sound of chimes remains. As they existed in the memory, they sound here as well. And they are hanging from woven braids on the wrists of the woman before you. Even as your head is spinning from the touch of her mind, the sound of chimes on her wrists is sharp and clear, as if coaxing you back to the real world. Say none of the recent celebrities have right near me, but I can definitely understand why they would affect others. Yeah, yep, cancer, just like Bowie. The woman still sits before you, but she is nothing like what you first saw. She is wearing black, shredded garments that drape over her form like streamers. Streamers? What? Her hair is streaks of black and run through with silver. Her age is almost impossible to tell. She simply feels old, like a crumbled watchtower. What kind of reference is that? As she lifts her head to face you, you see that her hair is draped across the front of her face like a veil. What you first saw of her was a mental glamour of some sort, unconscious, and you realize what you see is not what the world sees, and you are perhaps the first to see her true self. Still, you don't sense threat in the realization. If anything, you feel a sense of relief from the figure. You can hear her thoughts, and she's glad to at last be seen. What did you do to me? Probably showed me a memory. Who are you?
I am seen, but the eyes of others do not remember. You were the first to see me as I am, the call stripped aside.
Voice acting! There's a light touch on your mind, a caress, and the left hand mirrors the motion of the touch, reaching up to the air between you. You hear the chime on her wrist sound, softly. Her hand moves as if pantomiming, resting on your cheek at a distance, and she speaks softly and slowly.
Your memories. Cadence of wheels on a caravan track. Fever. Questions by running water. Violence in a night's campfire. Arrows in the dark. And fleeing. Falling rock and cracking stone. And a storm. The storm.
Yep, that was the beginning of the game.
The storm that brushed you. Did its screaming wake you from your mind's cradle? Your memory of it is painful. Its cry is difficult to ignore. It's like a child. Many children crying out.
What happened between us on that plateau memory we shared? Her hands withdraw shyly, the chime sounding softly once again. The woman stands, uncertainly, as if she had been sitting for some time, or is too weak to bear her own weight. You notice her cheekbones are tight, her face gaunt, and while her stance is weak, she seems determined to stand before you.
You are able to see me.
It is almost a question. You suddenly realize she doesn't seem to know what you saw when you looked at her. The image on the plateau. Yet the image was so clear, so sharp, you're surprised she didn't feel you there.
To see me is a rare gift. A watcher's gift.
I am a cipher, what the hell? Game? Jeez. I am a cipher, I'm playing a cipher. Oh no, wait, I'm playing a chanter. Crap. Never mind. Cipher, chanter. What's the difference? Was I helping a woman give birth? I was in your head.
So many questions, thoughts, whirling like storm winds. That storm still roars through you, deep beneath your thoughts, yet muted and secret, like an underground river. I cannot tell if it is carving new channels, or eroding what keeps your true strength buried.
Carving new channels, draping streamers. I feel this game is very old fantasy, descriptive deep prose. Yeah. That's basically what it is, Chroma. That's basically what it is.
The fact that you could hear it at all, survive it, is something few have ever done. Your power will grow stronger with each soul you touch, as it allowed you to reach out to mine.
I'm not getting experience points when I touch these souls. Just saying. There is a silence, and although it seems to last for but a heartbeat, in your thoughts it stretches out between the two of you, like a pull between your minds. You blink, take a breath, and then you realize she wants to ask you a question, yet can't form the words, as if assembling them is painful, or there are simply not enough pieces. Although part of that is the lack of action in a lot of text is just because you're doing it. It's the game side of things. What? There is not a lot of action, that is true. There's a lot of text. Assemble the thought. Do you wish to travel with me? Feel a wave of fear, gusted with the strength of relief. Although oddly, her expression does not change. Then fear dissipates and you feel strength and certainty, as if the plateau from her memory lies beneath you, and the calm sky looks down upon you. Yeah, you can... I mean, you're an interesting character and all that, but I like the party the way it is now, so... See ya! Alright. That's a travel thing. Don't have action happening in the talking. Yeah, exactly. For you. Alright. Arms and armory, a blacksmith. Let's enter the blacksmith. Yo.
Hail and well met.
Hail and well met, Winfrith. A portly, smiling man stands behind a warped wooded counter, polishing a buckler. He looks up. Haven't seen you before? Always glad to see a new face in town. Company's good for business and chatter's good for the soul. That's what I always say. Anyhow, what can I do for you? What's been going on in Diafort? Oh, we're a quiet little town. Not much happens here. Especially not since the legacy hit. People realized they couldn't have babies and just stopped trying altogether. And that takes a lot of excitement out of the day-to-day, if you can believe it. I certainly believe it. The Hours of St. Rubald. Versus Justice. The damage is less. There's not a lot of... It has more accuracy, but... He's smiling, that's some happy character. Zing! It's retrain character. Oh. It's just, yeah, this game is not happy at all. Alright, you see a forest clearing, fog curling through the weeds on the ground in the cold morning air. The serenity of the scene is occasionally broken by a faint noise that echoes through the silence. This woman emerges from the trees and stops, dropping to the ground. She creeps to the edge of the clearing and crouches near a tree. She glances around furtively, listening intently to the growing light. She presses her back to the tree, tensing against it, ready to spring forward. From the distance comes another sound, a rustling in the undergrowth. At that, she shoots forward, keeping as low to the ground as she can. She puts a hand to her throat and makes a sound, a shrill bird call, but what emerges from her mouth seems to emanate from yards away. From behind her, near the source of the rustling, there's a brief grunting noise that is quickly silenced. She dives into a large bush at the edge of the tree line, keeping her head down and wriggling silently through the leaves and twigs. She takes a position in the bushes, turning to face the direction she came. She raises her hand again, this time mimicking a stelgare, placing the rod directly behind the man, failing to sneak up on her. More than one voice answers this call, all of them sounding panicked and hurried, all of them quickly moving this way, all thoughts of stealth forgotten. She backs out from under the brush and crouches behind it. As she pulls her bow from her back, she takes a shooting stance and waits for her hunters to appear. When the hunted becomes the hunter, and all that. Right. So yeah, that was the blacksmith. Villager. Guard, yeah. If there's something you're not telling us, calm down. I'm on it. I am on the job. Who? Rumbled. A man paces angrily in front of a wrecked animal pen, his sun-weathered face twisted with ire. He's so wrapped up in his fury that he doesn't seem to notice you. Galloway's slobbering beasts blazing bloody effigy, thrice damned salty wench and her soggy. You should really mind your language. That's probably not the best way to pray to the gods. A fat lot of good they've done me so far. Just look at this mess. My pen ruined and all but a few measly runs gone. Calm down and tell me what happened. He bites his lip and closes his eyes. His nostrils flare with each quick, angry breath. Wife's always telling me to mind my temper. Just breathe deep and count to 10. He sighs. Lord option 4. Yeah, there's some fun options in this conversation. An ogre moved into the area not long ago. Folk had seen it glimpses and tracks out on the wood, but they seemed to be staying away from town. Or so we all thought. Until I made up with my pigs. Now everyone's afraid it's going to develop a taste for kith, if it hasn't already. Your swine are long gone, it's best to move on. Did you see the ogre take your pigs? What else would have destroyed my pen and made off with my herd? And at the same time the rest of the village is seeing a 10-foot monster in the forest. I know it's too late to get my pigs back, but I'd set my mind at ease to see that things had shorn from its neck. In fact, you bring its ugly pate to me and I'll trade you for something that's less of a use to a farmer like me than to a rowdy looking sort like yourself. What do you know about the ogre? It's the same as any other, I'm sure. A big ugly son of a bitch with a nasty temper and an appetite to match. Trugil could tell you more. He claims to have seen it in the wood. You can find him in his shop right by the broken tower. Regardless, I'm sure it's nothing big fella like yourself couldn't handle. I've sent to find a woman named Myfra. Never heard of her. Okay. So we need to return to the shop. I'm gonna do this before going to the inn. Also, I might... Ooh, a stag. I might have to stop the stream before hitting the inn. You know, just take your key. Rumble mentioned something about an ogre. He's hardly talked about anything else since the pigs of his went missing. The whole town's been worried about the monster. People are starting to see shapes in their windows at night, hearing its growl and the snoring of their mates. It would put a lot of minds at ease if someone got rid of it. I sometimes venture into the wilderness, collecting ingredients for my dyes, mind you. I've seen tracks east of here, near the river. That couldn't have been anything else. He scrapes at red pigment under his fingernails. Alright. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I apologize for the somewhat earlier end. But I did have some trouble with my throat, and all this reading hasn't made it any better. So unfortunately, I'll have to call it here. But he's gonna be like, stay out of my swamp. Yeah, perhaps. Who knows? And the talking donkey will be his companionship. Will be his companion. Just follow the singing or the humming or whatever. But yeah, I am ending it here. Thank you all so much for coming along, though. It's been really great. Normally I go for another 15 minutes, but my throat is really itchy and I'm gonna give it a rest. Thank you all so much for watching. If there's anyone up for a raid, let me know. And I'm going to do some announcements before I go. Tomorrow evening I will be back. That is like the next day, and then 4 hours? 3 hours? The next day plus 3 hours of the current time. I will be back with a Bookfish 35. We'll both be playing our continuation of the Kaleidoscope Dynasty Challenge, the Crusader Kings 2 Challenge, where we try to take 2 dynasties from 769 till 1821, the end of Europa Universalis 4. I don't know if we'll make it. We're in quite the trouble, especially Bookfish, with the infidels on our doorstep. But yeah, it would be cool if we did. We're going to try and continue that tomorrow at least, which would be very interesting. Then a few hours after that, like Saturday morning, I will be back again with Non-Nation streamer Nominon, and I think also Sam Desu and Pocket Light, I believe, were the ones with us. We are playing through Borderlands 2. So that's what I'm playing Saturday morning, 8 AM. So that is about 9 hours backwards this time, and then 2 days, which to make it even more clear. But those are the 2 streams that I will be doing this weekend. And next week I will either stream Tuesday or Thursday. I only have time for 1 stream because I'll be traveling around, talking to different companies and all that stuff about my work. So I only have either Tuesday or Thursday to stream, and I will be continuing the StarCraft 2 story on that stream. We're close to the end of Wings of Liberty, which is the very first game in the StarCraft trilogy, and either 1 or 2 more streams to finish it, and I want to finish it, so we'll be streaming StarCraft 2 next time. More StarCraft 2 story. That's it though. That's all I got for you right now. So for those that want to raid with us, this is the sentence we use. The prophecy has foretold this raid. So copy that sentence to your clipboard and paste it in the chat of the one we're going to raid. But wait until I say something along the lines of, we have found this channel, blah 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 blah. And let me see if I know. Oh, I know someone to raid. One of our teammates is online right now, and I'm not getting a lot of chance to raid. He's an awesome dude. So we are going to raid him. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow or any other next time. Nice, DRAs, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in chat. And for the others, thank you all so much. Well, for everyone, I would say. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time with more games or in any Twitch chat. So I'm going to the end screen, and I will be giving out the channel soon. I've been attacking little guys who have land that belong to the Ottomans and making them my vassals. Nice, nice. Alright guys, I'll be typing the channel where we're going, and see you guys there. Thank you all so much for watching.